Ogie Woodsman here. I just wanted to go ahead and give you an update, kind of share a few things with you about channel direction, some updates on the 562 XP, and kind of where we're going and some things we have coming. Weather's not been really cooperating too well with doing a lot of content. Also, my work schedule hasn't as well, but I'm about to get back on it pretty good here. Some things have changed since basically since you kind of seen what's going on around here. So one thing that's changed is we no longer have the chickens. Okay, we wanted to simplify life a little bit and reduce some of our obligations of, you know, being home at certain times and so forth. All right. Also, this area here, I'm going to go ahead and pan out. So this area, we kind of want to kind of open this up a little bit, get some sunlight. We want to do a little bit of gardening. We want also some grass. We do not have any grass really. And what that would mean is that we need to go ahead and clean up the ground, dig stumps, grade it, and so forth. And so we're looking at doing quite a bit in here. Another spot that we're looking at doing some stuff at is right here. This is an area in the future I'm wanting to build a shop. Got a lot of tools and a lot of equipment that currently has no home. Some burn piles to quit building on and burn finally. That's got to go. That tree right there is going to get cut. Actually, quite a few trees are going to be getting removed here. I've got a lot of cutting to come. So if you've been following the channel, you know that I built the house. One of the things that we did is we built the home, but did not build a garage because our priority was to get into a house. I have a family. It's not just me, so I can't just build a little tiny, or build a shop and build like a little room in it for someone like myself. But I have a wife and kids and family needs. And so what we've done is we've built our house. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on from that. We're not done with the house, but something that's really holding us up is having a proper place to work on things. So in this area right here, you can see I kind of started moving dirt a long time ago, building this up. Remember, my property is completely hills, okay? So I don't really have any flat spot at all. I'm gonna build a garage here. This is one of the things I want to get started. All right, and then I need to get power to my shed as well, but I'm not gonna get permanent power to it until I have a garage, because I'm not gonna bury lines to that. I'm also going to be expanding that, meaning that I'm going to basically double the size. That's currently 8x16. I'm going to put another 8x16 on it. We're going to do that. That big white oak right there is going to come out. These pines are coming out. Trees back there, anything that could possibly cause an issue over the garage are going to come out. That tree, let me get around here. That tree right there, you can see there's no top in it really. That tree was alive last year, I think, when we did excavation, kind of smoothed out the ground there. I think we compacted the ground too much and killed it. So that's something that if you're not aware of, you don't have to dig through roots to kill a tree. You can simply move heavy equipment around a tree and kill them. That's one thing you have to keep in mind when you're trying to keep a natural type landscape, is you can't really get heavy equipment in there and go to town. You compact that ground, you basically choke the tree out of its oxygen. But there's a lot of trees that we're looking at cutting, everybody. I need to get my sawmill set up. It's another thing that's on the agenda. I'm making this video almost as accountability, really, for me. We've all got a lot to do, each and every one of us in our lives. And I just need to make a priority on getting some stuff done. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm planning on trying to get that shop built. That's going to be probably one of the last things, but I'm wanting to do like a 40 by 50 or so in here. I've got some stakes. I had some plans on getting this done last year, but we kind of decided to hold off on that. I'm gonna be cleaning up a lot of this firewood, finishing getting some of this stuff cleaned up here. And I want to start, this is where I want to put my sawmill at. I need to flatten it out a little bit, move dirt, bring dirt in if I need to, and I want to build a place for my sawmill. I have never had the sawmill actually set up and running at this property. Everything that I've done with the sawmill, I've milled a lot of material, everybody, but it was, all the logs were brought from here, taken to my house closer to town at the time, and I milled everything. And there, so I want to mill here. It's funny, I have all this material around me, all these trees, but simply no mill set up. And that has to do partially with, I have a lot of excuses right now, but it's simply not set up because I need to make and prepare a place for it. When it comes down to mill placement, it's very, very, very important to have a proper setup to be able to get material onto it safely. But I mean, you can see this is a slope. Everything's a slope here. Okay, I've got this right here that's somewhat flat, but I really need to take this and I want, the goal is to be able to drive in with a load of logs, dump them, pick them, however I do it. At some point, a tractor or a mini excavator or something like that, be able to pick them off, set them down on that side if I need to, and be able to move them over to this other side here. So I'm gonna try to get started on some things. And again, I'm doing this as accountability here, everybody. I'm hoping that all the details will work out, and all the plans will work out, the funding will work out, and all that. We have a lot to show, a lot to do. We kind of figure that if we can't accomplish, then what's the purpose? If we can't accomplish doing these things, because that was the dream. We have a house out here, but if we can't accomplish that, I want to take the risk to do it, because if we can't do it, then maybe we need to do something else, right? So we're going to work hard to get this done. There's a lot of potential. I want to have my boys are learning and gobbling stuff up, very much so, but I want to be able to teach them more about woodworking, metalworking, all of that, building, more building, tools in general. One of the coolest things that my dad ever did for me as a kid was he bought me tools every year for Christmas or my birthday. He bought me my own socket set, and he didn't buy me cheap stuff. He bought me it was at the time US made Husky tools, because he had Craftsman. He wanted to be able to keep our tools separate. So that was a great thing, because by the time I got to be a teenager and needed to work on cars, because that's what I did, my parents instilled in me that I needed to work for what I needed and wanted. And so what I did is I started buying late model Corvairs, air-cooled engine Corvairs, and building them. I had a total of 4 of them. Anyway, I had tools. I didn't have every tool, but I had a lot of tools. I even had a Craftsman roll-away tool chest by the time I graduated high school. And it wasn't something that I had to go put on a credit card, but my dad did that really from an early age. I want to say when I was 10 years old, I was starting to get sockets and wrenches and all sorts of stuff. So I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing for my boys. Now, my boys have a little bit more Harbor Freight stuff. I think Harbor Freight has kind of gone up in quality a little bit. I mean, everything is imported nowadays. But Harbor Freight has definitely come up in quality, as long as you don't buy the lowest end of their tools. And it's given them an ability to do things. So the reason why I'm talking about this is I have a really big burden in my mind and in my heart to just foster the ability to do things, to work on things with my boys, for my boys, so that way they can someday realize their own dreams and do something like this or better and different. So, oh, update on that 562. I called the shop today and they are waiting on that carburetor to come in from Husqvarna. Husqvarna has told them that that's what they need to replace. The leak down test, everything passed. There was no air leaks, apparently. And so the next step is they're replacing the carburetor. What that means is that's the most likely culprit, but there's really no guarantee that that's what it is. So I'm waiting right now. I put that saw in the shop May 26th. And it's June 8th or so right now, I think. So I've been without it for a little bit. I want it back. I really want to cut some of these trees with it. But it is what it is. Leave a comment if you got any ideas, any cool ideas that you might have for this. I'm wanting to build retaining walls with some of the rock around here. We're just wanting to kind of pretty this up a little bit, everybody. It's not the first priority, but at the same time, we kind of want to clean things up and finish it off a bit. We want to have a natural feeling at our place, but at the same time, we do want to make it something that's maintainable. Because like right now, this is all pine trees growing in here. Well, I don't want 1,000 pine trees. I could thin that out, of course, but I've got utility lines buried in there. There's water, there's fiber, there's power. I don't want those trees growing up on top of all that, right? So I need to get stuff cleaned up, tidied up, and make it something that, you know, where we can maintain it. I've been throwing saw chips and round up leaves on it. It's kind of nice. Eventually I do want to put some gravel in here. This has kind of kept it from eroding real badly. We're wanting to kind of smooth these transitions. This tree is going to end up coming out too. It's healthy, surprisingly, because we have cut through some roots there. This tree right here is not healthy. So you can see I cut through these roots digging through here. And this thing looks like it has something called little leaf syndrome. Right there. You can tell the leaves are smaller. If you look at that one right there, it's way more full, and they're also longer. This tree is dying in place right now. Okay, that's what's happening to that. And before it rots, I'm gonna cut it and I wanna mill it. But again, I don't have that mill set up. So this is gonna be coming out. We're gonna selectively harvest a lot here. We are absolutely gonna selectively harvest a lot. That was the intention when we came here. We don't wanna cut every tree. We want to have some lawn, we want to have some gardens, but we do not want to completely doze the whole thing flat and start over. That's not the goal. So we're going to see how we can do it best with within our means and having a vision. So thank you guys. Appreciate you being here. Have a good one.